Good morning. So, it's Monday. Let's have a little look at our reading, and you'll notice judge proof. So we've got to prove these statements. So essentially, this is kind of true or false, or I agree or I disagree. We haven't actually done a lot of proof in Year 5. He was one of the metamates that we were planning to do a bit more in the summer. Not because it's trickier, because the style of questions don't necessarily appear as often. And he links very closely with deduction. So I think this because it says this. So you've kind of already used the skill to an extent. So we're going to look at The Unluckiest Boy in the World by Andrew Norris. We've looked at this text before, so have a little read through. It's the one where he has different teachers and children get moved around. He's got calmer children in the class, so you have a read the text. We have looked at it before in class, but obviously not with these questions. So let's have a look. Mr. Fender is the head teacher. True or false, and why? So you've got to answer these like true because of this, false because of this. So it is essentially still deduction, but we retrieval, a mixture of skills. So I'm going to say that Mr. Fender is the head teacher. So I'm going to say true, because Mr. Fender had panic buttons installed in all classrooms. He sent 4 staff off to training courses. The things he's doing here are what a head teacher do. Okay, he's clearly in charge of the teachers. He says what happens. Okay, so I'm going to say true. And actually, at the end, Mr. Fender himself took over the lessons for RE. It sounds like that's quite an important thing. All right, but I think the biggest one's true. He had panic buttons installed in all classrooms, and he sent staff. He reorganised staff. He sent staff away, and he swapped teachers around. So I'm going to say yes, he's the head teacher. There's evidence for that. Bad things have been happening to Nicholas for a few weeks. True or false? Why? Well, there's a little bit of evidence here. The number of accidents happening around Nicholas was reduced dramatically, but that could have been a few days. That could have been years. You've got to go down to the bottom here. That sense he had carried for the last 18 months of malevolent forces waiting to pounce disappeared. Now, few weeks, 18 months, that's not a few weeks. I'm going to say false, because it says that the bad energy, the bad forces, the bad feelings have been happening for 18 months. So it's false. That's not a few weeks. Next one. I think that Miraji is a magical person and not a teacher. Now, I don't know the story. I know a couple of you got this book, so this might be awkward if you've read the book. I generally don't know. So the evidence is quite well. I've made this quite a tricky one, I think, and this might be one that in class I'd probably have people argue both sides, which I love. Okay, and that's the point of reading, especially an extract. You interpret it differently. I'm going to say that she's not a teacher in school, because Mr. Fender altered the timetable as Miss Miraji had suggested. Now, teachers do suggest things to Mr. Paxman, and he takes them on board and makes the decision. But there's nowhere that says that Miss Miraji did any of his lessons. And if she understands this and is giving advice, down here, she said that the energy of the curse depend on the emotions. She clearly knows about this energy and this magic or whatever it is, but she's not in any of the lessons. So I'm going to say that there is proof of my idea that Miss Miraji isn't a teacher. So for that question, you'd put I agree, I disagree, because of whatever, okay? You might disagree with it, but there's got to be evidence for it. The other orange one, because of Nicholas's curse, a teacher was attacked by a mountain lion. True. Mr. Damien was still away after the mountain lion incident. Now, you could jump to conclusions. It doesn't say it was attacked by a mountain lion, it simply means an incident. So you could say false. There is no evidence that the teacher was attacked by a mountain lion, only that there was an incident. So be careful with that. Blue 1. I think the reader is made to feel sorry for Nicholas. There's lots of evidence for this, isn't there? The fact that children have had to be moved, that so many bad things have been happening around him. There's lots of evidence to suggest that. And then the final one is simply make your own true or false statement, which I think there's lots of things that you can do with that. So hopefully you've started to get an understanding of how to answer some of these questions. It's a lot like your deduction, I think this because, but it's more I agree or true, false. All right, but you still got to find the evidence in the text. Hopefully, and you've done that okay. On Wednesday, we've got another one that's very similar to that. Brilliant.